Yeah, I actually have a question for you, kind of going back to the early stages of when this was more of an idea and less so of a business. And one of the beautiful parts of working within the Rabine group is Gary himself and how entrepreneurial he is. And so we're constantly testing new ideas and trying to iterate and improve over time. And so I guess I'm curious, when you guys were first really putting together the idea of what Uscreen would eventually become, and then trying to test the feedback from the market, what that original pilot program really consisted of. And then as you fast forward 4 to 5 years, like you mentioned, what sort of frameworks or takeaways have you actually learned through that process that are relatively scalable over time?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many ways you can test now. For me, I was almost amateur in that aspect, but I had the basics to know what to do to kind of get feedback. There's this saying, it's called getting out of the building. So that's what I did. When I was first starting Uscreen, I called a bunch of people and asked them, would they pay for content? Would they not? Then I went to Google and I said, fitness DVD, theater DVD, kids DVD, and I got 100 sites, got their contact info, and called all those publishers. Hey, would you be willing to stream your DVDs? Would you pay for it? That's how I got my initial feedback before I built the product. Then once I built the product, keep talking to your customers and keep getting the feedback. And really getting feedback it's a learning process. It really is, because in software, people are excited about what you're building. So they're going to give you a lot of feedback. If you listen to all of them, you're going to create a monster. And we made some of those mistakes. So building software is actually very complicated. It's not like building, like you look at Instagram, you look at TikTok, and all these things work perfectly. And you might have feature requests, but overall you kind of go through it, or all the different softwares like Zoom we're using. I wish I had this, I wish I had that. But exactly how it's built has had a lot of studying and how they receive feedback. So building software is really an art. That's why most people don't do it well. There's going to be a certain number of customers that will attract to any software within the competition. But when you do a good job and you figure it out, we figured it out 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. The first 4 years is just trying to build something complicated that does everything. Because remember, when the audience comes, a lot of them are not your potential audience. They think they're going to use it, they're not. And they're also going to be really excited. So you're going to get all this feedback and you're going to be like, oh my God, this is amazing. This company, and this happens to us, this company like TED Talks, which is a huge name, and you could be small, it's the exact scenario happens, wants us to build two-way video. And you're like, man, that's amazing. Everybody can use that. But then when you build it, or you build a small version, you see how complex it was and it took 6 months, then you go out to your actual audience, you're going to see, man, that was pretty custom and that was only for TED. You got to be really careful in getting feedback. And is it for my right audience? Is it the direction I'm pointing? There's no doubt you're going to have to focus on an audience and then you can expand. You can't do everything for everybody. That's a big mistake. I'm telling you, I made that mistake extremely well many times.
Right. So just focusing on the feedback loop then, right?